Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ellie. I am a knitter based in Austria, and today I would like to go through all of my kind of long-term whips that have been just laying around and decide if I want to keep it or if I want to frog it. So I hope you enjoy this video and let's get started. The first thing that I have is I recently started an excavation blanket. It looks like this. I have showed this on my podcast quite a while ago now. I've just not been working on it. I really wanted to use up all of my acrylic yarn. If you've been around here for a bit longer, then you know I've made a huge blanket where I tried to do the exact same thing. Turns out I have way more acrylic yarn than I could ever knit up. So I started to donate a bunch of that recently just to get it out of my stash. But I started with this, and I think I'm gonna keep it, even though the blanket is going to be very small, because I am using, like I said, acrylic yarn in 3 different colours. I have this blue, which is a bit thicker, so I'm only using it, I'm using it double stranded everything. Did I? Oh no, I'm using a single strand of the blue, but double for all of the other ones, so the white and the grey is double. And I actually thought I would use a lot more of the acrylic yarn than I am for this blanket. So in this, because I am using the things double, I'm not even through 2 full cakes for the colours, so I'm never gonna make that, because I think I have about 10 cakes or something ridiculous. And if all of this is not even 2 full cakes, I'm not going to be able to use up all of that. So I do have 2 more cakes set aside for the rest of the blanket, and honestly, if I run out, then I run out, then I just use some scrap yarn. This is not anything fancy or a gift or anything. It's just for me because I fancied something easy, just in garter stitch, which is exactly this. Just knitting back and forth, and you basically increase on the sides here and here, and you kind of work in like a triangular form, and then once you reach the width that you would like or the pattern suggests, it's really up to you, then you start decreasing on both sides as well. So it's actually not going to be like a proper blanket, because the side it's not very wide yet, and I really like my blankets to touch from like head to toe. I don't think is gonna be it. I might be wrong on this, but it seems like you're kind of working in like a square shape instead of a, what's the other shape called? I don't know. I think you know what I mean. So first whip, I think I'm gonna keep going with this. We'll see if I do find the motivation. I do want this. It's not gonna be very big, or at least not as big as I anticipated it, but I'm just gonna put it in another corner and start working on it once it gets hotter and I find the motivation again. First whip. Second one is in this bag. I made this last year. I printed these things out. I designed them kind of myself, and in this one I have 2 whips. The first one is this Christmassy jumper. I love this thing. This is by Skinned in Knits, the festive yoke sweater I think it's called, and you can have it as an overall colourwork sweater, but I just really liked the motifs, the yoke. The pattern is incredible. She has a really great way of explaining things, and because the motifs are all the same width, so they all have the same stitch count, you can change and switch and swap the motifs around however you want. And in the pattern I think you get like 10 of 15 different designs, which I find really cool. It's really versatile and you can design it to your liking. So I decided on this. I am using Holst yarn. Is it Holst Super Soft? This is the first time I am using this yarn. I really like working with it. It is quite rustic and it is a lot different to the other ones. I think I'm using the recommended needle size. So I don't have any of my needles on these projects, but I do have like a note so I know what needle size I used, which I think is quite clever of me. So for the body I use 3.75mm needles, and for the ribbing 3mm needles. And I think for the color work motif she wants you to use a different needle size, because with color work a lot of people actually need a lot tighter because of the 2 strands, which is what happened to me. You can see there's a lot of puckering going on. I really need to give it a good block, but I wanted to finish it first. I have finished the body and I am just on the ribbing, but because I've been working on such tiny needles and the gauge, you can see it's very see-through. The yarn is supposed to bloom. Like I said, first time using this yarn, I heard a lot of good things about it, and I am praying that it will do what people have promised me that it will do, which is blooming. So I'm really counting on that. If not, then it's just gonna be like a more airy sweater, which is fine by me, but as like a Christmas jumper, I'm not sure that's ideal for like deep winters, although we don't really get deep winters. Anyway, fantastic pattern, would highly recommend it. I was not the plan wasn't to make a Christmassy cast on or have one, and then in the middle of December I decided I actually do want something. I'm not bothered if it's done before Christmas, which obviously it didn't happen because life got in the way, and I kind of stopped because I didn't feel like working on it anymore at like the end of January when I finished the body, but I definitely will finish this. I think the sleeves, I really don't like making sleeves, even though it's kind of ironic because sleeves work up really fast because you have decreases, and it kind of doesn't make it a mindless knit, and I need something engaging, and I think sleeves are exactly that, because you work a certain number of rows and then you decrease, and they are fun, but it's just I have to do it. I have to actually put the needles on the sleeve, and then I'm good to go. So I will definitely finish this. I don't know when. I might leave it till autumn at least, maybe even Christmas to just finish it, but I am super close, and I'm really happy with this project. And then the other one that we have in here is also one I've been working on for forever. It is my Cargill sweater by Rebecca Clow, the Crea Bear. This is what it looks like. I finished the body and I'm almost done with the first sleeve. I think I have another 1 or 2 repeats, and then I need to do the cuff. The problem with this, so first of all, the pattern is incredible. I really like the design ever since she showed the design on one of her podcasts, and I've been wanting to make this for such a long time, but I didn't enjoy the process, and that's really what's been holding me back with this. I don't like the stitch repeat. People say it goes really fast because it is engaging, and you think, oh, just one more row. For me, that's not what happened. I think the dip stitch, really started hurting my wrists. It was not quick, for me at least, so I just really didn't enjoy it. So I'm kind of stuck on the sleeve, and also the collar, you can see it flares out. I picked up too many stitches at the front, and I actually don't like the collar either once I put it on. It's way too short. I would need like a higher one, at least double that amount, for me to really like it. But here's the problem: will I frog it or will I finish it? I am using Sadness Yarn Sunday. I have the yarn in one of these ones, and Drops Kid Silk. So here's the yarn. It's in a really lovely colour. This is colour 4621, and it's a very nice light lilac. And then Drops Kid Silk is in the colour 5. It's something called like violet or something along those lines. Really lovely colour. But again, if you've been around here for a little bit longer, you know that this mohair itches like hell and back for me. And after I've been switching over to Filcolana Atelier, I can't go back to this. It is so scratchy compared to this. In this sweater, this is my lentil. I used Filcolana Atelier, and this is so much softer than just touching it than this. And I know with Drops Kid Silk, a lot of people like it because it's so affordable. That's why I have so much of this as well. But I just never been, like, whatever garment I made with mohair, it's just been so itchy that I actually can't wear it. So I have a lot of garments with stuff like this in it, and I know that I don't wear these garments either. So I think, even though it hurts so much, I think I'm gonna have to frog this. I really like how the two yarns actually came together. You can definitely tell the two strands apart, that one is lighter and one is darker, and I think overall it looks really good together, but I just can't wear it. And I know this is going to be a pain, because trying to pick apart wool from mohair, because this is 100% wool, is going to be tough. But what I'm going to try doing, which is what I've heard, I'm going to try putting it in the freezer and then picking it apart. That's supposed to help. Again, I'm going to try this for the very first time, but I think this is going to be frogged, because Sadness Yarn Sunday is quite pricey for like a standard kind of fingering weight yarn for me, and it would just be a shame to either finish the garment and not ever wear it, or just leave it like right now and again not wear it, because there's a lot of money in this for me at least, and I would like to get the yarn back. I have no idea what I'm going to do with all of my Kid Silk mohair. I know I do have to destash it sometime, because I have so much. I bought so many... Sorry, I think I got mohair fluff in my eye. I got so many donuts of this. It's actually ridiculous, because there used to be like an offer and I bought so much, but it's so itchy. I am very sensitive around my neck. Not very sensitive on my arms, but even this is scratchy on my arms, so it's a no for me. I would like to make the Cargill once in my life, not anytime soon, because like I said, the dip stitch took me so long. I mean, even this, even finishing the body, it took me like a few months, but I just can't have that in my life. I am more than willing now to invest in good quality supplies and materials, and this is why I am frogging it. Sad and heartbreaking, but such is life. Right, next up we have a sweater that has been living in this bag from day one, and this is going to be a frog. For a little bit of background information, this is a Drops Studio, Garn Studio, or whatever they're called, design. It is a free pattern. You can go onto the website. It's called the Dreams of Aaron, and it looks like this. this is what I have so far. This is basically the body done. It is bottom up, not my favorite construction. I absolutely hate bottom up, and this has confirmed it because I've not been working on it for a while, and I'm not gonna finish it. I will frog this. It is a really nice design. It's got some moss stitch and then 2 cables and then the honeycomb in the middle. Quite standard, I think. Honeycombs are not fun to make for my wrists. This also took me forever to make. The repeats are quite long. It's like an 8-row repeat, and this was not fun to make. I think I started the sleeve. Oh, it's a tangled mess. I started the sleeve. I had to rip back because I used the wrong yarn, so I had 2 different colours. So this is like, I don't know, half the sleeve. It's got a different kind of cable here. I think it's like a horseshoe cable. And then some other cables here. The problem with this design is that, or not the design, but the pattern itself, I think Drop's design, they have very strange sizing ranges. I've made quite a few sweaters from their website with their patterns, and none of them fit, and I've heard from other people as well that those things don't fit. This is way too big. I am actually making the smallest size possible, which is 13 to 14 years old, so that is already not even a men's size, because this is supposed to be a men's sweater, and it's still way too big. I am using the recommended yarn, which is Drop's Charisma in the colour 44. It is a really nice dark grey. One of my favourite yarns ever. It is 100% superwash wool. I love this yarn. It is super affordable, and I have a ton of it because I fell in love whilst working on this. But I don't have a boyfriend anymore. This was supposed to be for my boyfriend. Like I said, I've not been working on it. It's been like 6 months now since I started it, and I don't see myself finishing it for myself, so this will be a frog for me. And then the last thing that I have is something that also breaks my heart. It is my Ingrid sweater by Petite Knit. I only finished this a few months ago. Well, finished in quotation marks. I am using We Are Knitters Merry Fine, which I believe is 100% wool. I could be wrong on that. The yarn is like an Aran weight or a worsted weight, but the pattern tells you to use a DK weight with a mohair. So technically, from the yarn thickness side, I should have been okay with gauge, but it turns out I'm not. And with this design, I also realized I am a loose knitter. So this is what it looks like. I have basically finished the sweater. I have 2 sleeves, I have the body, and I just need to do the last ribbing section, but I ran out of yarn. I used, I think, so for the ribbing I used 3.5mm needles. That's why I got the tag on here. And then for the body, I think I used 4 when really I should have used a 4.5. I made the smallest size possible, but with me, because I am so thin in general, the smallest size always is way too big on me anyways. So it turned out to be like an S, I think. It's just, you know, by measuring the circumference. It could have also been an M. I'm not entirely sure anymore. I never blocked this, as you can tell by the scrunched up ribbing and everything. I messed up at the very top already. This is not long enough. This should be double the length. I am happy with the length that I do have right now, but because I ran out of yarn, I actually can't finish it. And I did set a reminder on the website that they should contact me or send me an email once this mauve colour gets back in stock. It's been now almost 3 months, and it's not it hasn't come back yet. So I think I'm just gonna leave it for a little while longer, because I do really like the colour and I do like the yarn with this pattern, even though it is so oversized. But I don't have the heart to rip it out, because the whole reason why I wanted this sweater was to use up my We Are Knitters yarn. I have 5 more balls of the Merry Fine in a forest green. I don't know what to make with it. I think this yarn is so difficult to work with, or like not work with in the knitting process, but work with as in trying to find a pattern, that I just kind of looked at the gauge what you're supposed to have, and this kind of fit the bill just from seeing what the pairing is supposed to be like, and then I just did it. Yeah, not the best idea I had, but I do think I really like how it turned out. I want to make the Ingrid sweater again because I absolutely love this design. I really like texture at the moment, and I do have some yarn for the Ingrid sweater. I just have to make it, but now we're into summer, so I'm just gonna put it off. So again, the verdict with this one, I think I'm gonna leave it. If I can't complete it by, say, the end of June, I will frog it, and I will try and find another purpose for the yarn. If you have any recommendations, or if you have used this yarn before and know a pattern that works for it, then please let me know in the comments down below, and I will go and check that out. Those were all of my whips. I have one more thing to show you. I currently washed my sweater number 9 by My Pretty Things Knitwear. This was one of my first sweaters that I ever made, and it is absolutely huge. I did not really understand gauge, so this is kind of a complete disaster from start to finish. Again, I did use another We Are Knitters yarn. This was the Petite Wool, which is a single ply yarn, and I found that I really don't like the yarn. I have, again, once more, some of this yarn left, not in this colour, in a very nice blue. I was gonna make another cable sweater with it, but it just doesn't hold up at all. With this sweater, I just washed it, like I said, and I think I did shrink it. I'm not too mad about it because it never really fits. The gauge is way off anyways. I think you're supposed to use a DK weight, and this again is like a 17 or 15 stitch gauge yarn, so it does not fit the bill at all. But I really like the design, and I'm pretty sure that the body is now way too short. The problem with this one was that I made the yoke way too deep. As you can see, it's huge. If I get up here, yeah, my armhole is here. Can you see? Yeah, I don't know what you guys are doing with like the sweaters that you don't want to wear anymore, but they're not nice enough to really sell. I might either try and compost it, or I would just give it to charity. I don't know yet, because it's really not enough, like nice enough to sell, and I'm not comfortable knowing that it doesn't even fit right. So I'm not comfortable like even giving that away to someone that I know. And with this one, once again, I did use Drops Kit Silk Mohair in just the natural whites that they have. It's very itchy. It is a turtleneck, so a high neck. It's always been itchy. I would like to make this pattern again, because like I said, I do like the design a lot, but it just wasn't right. And now that I have quite a few more projects under my belt, I can tackle this with no issue. It's a very simple raglan design. I just need to see what yarn I could use this for. The reason why I held on to this for so long was because of the colour. The colour is ivory, for the We Are Knitters wool. You can check out my Ravelry page. I have all of those that information there as well. But this is ivory, and the reason why I held on to it is because it just fits with so many different things. I normally have high-waisted dark jeans, and this has just been perfect. I have a brown corduroy dress. This has been perfect for it, so that was really the only reason why I kept it for so long. But yeah, let me know what you do with your sweaters that are not nice enough to sell, but you also don't want to hold on to them, and I will see what I will do with mine. So this time, for real now, I am finished with all of my long-term whips. I do have some kind of de-stash coming up. I don't know when. At some point I will let you know about that in the future. I hope you did enjoy this video. I hope maybe it'll give you some motivation to go through your old project and see, do they still spark joy? Are you realistically going to finish them? Because I think once I frogged the things that I want to frog and got rid of the things I want to get rid of, it's going to be so much nicer and so much more headspace for me, and I wish that for you as well. Anyway, so if you enjoyed this video, then like it, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to get notifications whenever I upload, and I'm gonna see you next time. Happy knitting. Bye.